desktop chat, and it should bring you to a page where you can then download the software for Windows. So exactly as you always do with your downloads and installation, go through the normal setup process, and I will see you as we launch the application. Next, what we're going to need to do is log into our Restream account. So if you don't already have one, it's a super simple free sign up, and it allows you to connect a few of your different streaming accounts, so Twitch or YouTube or Mixer or multiple of these if you want to, into Restream, so that you can then use this application to chat on those platforms. So if you've got an account, log in. If you don't sign up, it's very, very easy. Once you've successfully logged into the Restream platform for the Windows, so I can quite easily alt tab to a different program and it still gets hidden behind it. And we want window always on top. So if I click this, this will mean that the chat window is now always on top. And what I mean by that is I can go to my Google Chrome, hopefully super self-explanatory. Window always on top. So if I click this, this will mean that the chat window is now always on top. And what I mean by that is I can go to my Google Chrome tab, and I could go to the Gaming Careers website or keep using Google Chrome or any other application, and my chat window is still staying on top of that. Now that's all good and useful, but it is completely blocking part of our screen. So you can imagine if we had a game running and we had our chat up in the top corner like this, we would be not able to see the top corner of our game. So we want to add some transparency to this. So if we jump back into the settings, you can see the next option is to enable transparency. If we check that, we then get some options down here as we can change the opacity of our window. Now this is largely going to be personal preference of how much opacity you want, and probably depends on what game you're playing and how light or how dark it is. But just for now, before we start playing around with settings, I'll give you what I typically use, and that is to set the window opacity all the way down to the minimum, which is 1%, and then the message opacity, which is actually the messages that show on top of our chat, I set that to around 30%. Now that is instantly going to make it very hard to see where our chat window is. If you see me moving this blue bar, you can see part of the chat window still. So I'm just going to set the window to maybe 20% or something, just whilst we continue setting up the software, and then I'm going to drag that back down to 1% when we are ready to actually use it. So what other options do we still have here? Use GPU. I don't recommend using that, neither does Restream by the looks of it. Show in taskbar just means that the application is going to show in the taskbar. Show view account, that just shows a view account of how many people are watching your stream at the top of the chat window, which is a useful little tidbit of information that you can have still whilst you're playing your game. Now click-through mode, this is a useful option. This basically means that you can still interact with the chat window if you hold down the hotkey. The hotkey by default is set to control. If in your game you're going to be using control, then it's worth setting this to something else. But if I enable this option, I can show you exactly how to use it. So if I hold down control, I can now click this got it button, and I can drag this window around, and I can type back into my chat or whatever. But if I let go of control, I can't interact with it anymore. I can't interact with that chat window. So if I hold down control, I can move it. Let's move it up to the top corner, which is probably where we're going to have it. But if I let go of control and try and move it, I'm actually moving my window, the browser behind it. So useful option to be able to interact directly with the chat window. The last couple of options, URL display, this just means that it's going to replace any URLs in your chat with TinyURL, which is useful because you don't want loads and loads of text filling up your screen, so enable that if you wish to. And finally, you have some options for font sizes of the message, the person that's chatting, their nickname, as well as if you want a timestamp or not. I'm going to leave those at their default, and I'm going to turn this right back down to 1%, which is going to look like it's completely disappeared, but it is still there, and once I get some chat in there, you're going to see exactly how that's going to look for our game. So if we now close down these settings and we head across to our Twitch chat and just type in an example message, let's say, hello world. You can now see that comes up, and it's difficult to see because it's overlaid over so many different colours, but